Hey guys, so just a little disclaimer before the video that you are about to watch starts. I just wanted to pop on here and do a little bit of explaining because I know a lot of people may be a little concerned or confused about this video. So this video about my infected ear stretch happened about 3 days after I stretched my ears up to a 6 gauge. I babied them and I took care of them like how you are about to see in this video. And after about maybe 5 days of doing that, my ears completely went back to normal. There was no pain, there was no pus, there was no any sign of infection. And I am now actually at a 5 gauge and I do have some glass plugs in here in case any of you are going to run to my Instagram and message me with your concerns or your tips. I do appreciate it, but I promise everything is fine. I just wanted to make a video on this little infected ear stretch just in case anyone else out there has the similar issue. But yeah, everything's good. Everything's golden. Let's get into the video now. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. We have a little bit of an ear stretching video that we are going to be doing today. One that I didn't think I would ever have to do, but nonetheless, here we are. So as you can tell by the title, by the thumbnail, today we are going to be talking about how my stretched ears are currently infected. I recently stretched up to a 6 gauge. I went from an 8 to a 6. And literally everywhere, anyone you talk to, they will always tell you that the 8 to a 6 stretch is the hardest, it is the most painful, it is the biggest pain in the ass ever. And very quickly realized that that's a true statement. Ever since I have stretched up to a 6 gauge, I have had nothing but issues. So I did this ear off camera, and then I filmed me stretching up to 6 gauge in this ear on camera. Didn't have any issues, you know, it wasn't, I mean, it was painful, like it stung a little bit, but it wasn't like, oh, got up to a 6, I was super happy. I was like, thank God that stretch is done because holy shit, that was hell on earth. This ear, on the other hand, my left ear, about 3 days after I stretched it, so noticed, I woke up one morning and I noticed that this ear, in particular, was extremely swollen, very, very tender, and I was like, what the heck is going on? Now, before any of you think that I have like a blowout or I fucked my ear up, I thought the same thing. I thought the exact same thing. Like, shit, like I just ruined my ear. You know, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna have to go back down to an 8, you know, like blah, 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 whatever. So I looked in the mirror, I looked, you know, front, back, left, right, upside down, sideways, diagonal, and I don't have a blowout, okay? There is no cat butt going on either one of my ears. I, you know, was looking at them, you know, everything was fine, just very, very tender and very swollen. And then I also noticed like the ear stretching smell, you know, if you have your ears stretched, you know the smell that I'm talking about. I have quite a bit of experience with ear piercings and I've had my fair share of infected piercings before, so you know, I recognized, I was like, oh shit, like I think it's infected. I don't know why it's infected, I don't know how it happened, but it happened. And I went on Twitter and I asked you guys, I'm like, hey, when you guys stretch your ears to a 6, did you notice any pain? Like, was it painful for a while? Did you notice any swelling? Da da da. And someone said, you know, yeah, I have, and yeah, my ears were sore, but my ear was like, it was tender and sore to the point where I knew it wasn't like a normal sore. The lobe was down to here, it was red, there was a slight bit of pus coming from it, like it was nasty. I was like, what? Shit, like what the fuck am I gonna do? So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take this as a good thing and I'm gonna make a video on how I am currently healing my infected stretched ear. If any of you have ever gotten an infection from stretching your ears, please let me know, like is this normal, is this a thing? So I'm gonna tell you guys what products that I'm using. I'm going to show you how I soak my ear, how I moisturize it, because that is definitely something that is very, very crucial. You don't want them to dry out, I do know that. So now I am going to say, just from doing, you know, babying it like it's a new piercing for a few days, I can tell you it is about 95% better. I get to a 6 and my whole life falls apart. Did you guys see that? The 3 things that you are going to absolutely need if this ever does happen to you. The first one is just some soap. For piercings, preferably, I like to use the Provon soap. if it'll focus, there we go. Just the Pro-Von antimicrobial lotion soap. I have been using this for years. The other thing that you are going to need is some vitamin E oil. I have been using this in between my stretches to massage them and keep them moisturized. I also would use a little bit of coconut oil as well, just because that felt super soothing on the ears. But most of the time I do use vitamin E oil. You can get this right at Walmart. And when you run into the issue of infection, like I have, hi, infected ear right here, you are going to need non-iodized sea salt. And for those of you who have been OG subscribers of mine, this is gonna look real familiar to you. Ta-da! I still have this shit. It's the Instant Ocean Sea Salt. I actually got this from a pet store. So if you go into like a pet store and you go into like the fish aisle, you know, that's where I got this. I've had this for years. This thing will literally last you forever. A huge, huge, huge box. I'm surprised I haven't cured cancer with this shit yet. Like, I swear to God, if you have anything infected on your body, this will heal it for sure. I don't even know how I'm gonna be able to show you. Yeah, it's just a huge block of sea salt, basically, and that is what I use to clean my piercings with, and I'm gonna show you how I do that. So, the first thing I do is I obviously get in the shower, I wash my hands really good, and then I take a little bit of the Pro-Von soap, get it nice and soapy, and then I very, diligently, wash the area, wash, behind the tunnel a little bit, wash behind, make sure I rinse it off really well. When I go to do my sea salt, this is what I do. Anywhere in your house, if you have like NyQuil, DayQuil, and it comes with the little plastic cups on top so you can measure the medicine and take it, I keep one of those to do my sea salt soaks in. I use these all the time. I use this for my belly button piercing, my nipple piercings. These are great for that. I actually even used this for my septum piercing at one point. And you only need just a little tiny bit of this. You don't need a whole lot of it. And I'm only gonna take about that much. Even that is a little bit, so I'm actually gonna dump some out. Okay, once you do that and you put it in the little medicine cup, the next thing that you do is you go to the bathroom or wherever you have a sink nearby, and you're gonna wanna use hot water. Now, you don't want it to be so hot that it's going to boil and burn your skin, but you want it to be warm/hot enough to the point where it's going to really be effective. I find it to be the most effective the hotter the water is, but that's just me. So before we go and fill it up with water, I am just going to show you guys the state of my ear and what it's looking like. So I'm pulling the plug down a little bit. Hopefully you can see, hopefully it's in focus, but you can see the little tiny bits of pus in there. Not a good sign. I'm going to go fill this with super hot water and I will be right back. So I have it filled with water. As you can see, I have it filled all the way up to the very, very top, and I will explain why in a second. But before I like to soak my ear, I like to just take a clean Q-tip like this. I know a lot of people are against Q-tips and all that shit, but I don't really care. I've been using them for years and I think they're very effective. Make sure it is clean, put a end of it in there and just kind of stir it up just so some of the salt can get dissolved in there, because you don't want a whole bunch of salt just gathering at the bottom. So, and then what I personally like to do is I like to take that wet part that we just put in the sea salt and just kind of clean the inside of the ear as best as possible without taking the entire plug out. I don't know how well you guys can see that on camera, but it is pretty yucky in there, pretty gross. To clean the back of it, I just hold a mirror behind my ear and really try to get the back really good. Once I do that, just kind of clean it up a little bit, this is when the sea salt soak time comes. Now, I do this about twice a day for 10 minutes, so 20 minutes total. You don't want to do any more than that. Once you start to notice it getting better, 2 times a day is actually too much, so then you can bring it down to once a day. This isn't exactly the most comfortable thing on planet Earth, I will say that, so just kind of put like a 10-minute YouTube video on, or, do something for 10 minutes, but basically, you're going to take your full cup like this, you're going to put it where your ear is, and then you're going to tip your head. You're basically going to tip your head like this so your ear is completely submerged in the sea salt solution. I know this is like super weird and it's really uncomfortable. I'm trying to like make sure I'm on camera and shit so you guys can see. The earlobe is completely submerged in the sea salt solution and I just kind of hold my head off to the side like this, and I sit here for about 10 minutes. Now, make sure you're doing this somewhere where you don't mind a little bit of spillage, because it will and can spill. And I literally just sit here like this for 10 minutes, and it feels so good on the ears. It's very, very effective, and it cleans it right up. I seriously love this stuff. Now, because you are using salt, your piercing will get a little bit dry, which is when the vitamin E oil is very, very crucial afterwards. So after you do a little bit of soak, just kind of rinse it off with some water, dry it off really good, and then just put some vitamin E oil on. But I kid you not, the first time that I did this, I had it, like, there was so much pus that I could literally see coming out, and I was like, oh shit, bitch. Alright, so it's been about 10 minutes. As you can see, you are going to have a little bit of like redness in a ring where the cup was sitting. That's totally normal, not anything to worry about. And then once it is all dried off, I go in with the vitamin E oil, and I just take like a tiny bit of this just on my finger right here, and I basically make sure that the area underneath, like right here on the lobe, and behind a little bit are moisturized. Now, you don't have to, you know, overdo it with this. Just make sure that it is moisturized enough to the point where your ear isn't gonna get dried out and crack. Okay, guys, and that is how I have been healing and cleaning my infected, stretched ear. Hopefully this video was informational and helpful for some of you. I literally stand by this method. I use this method all the time with all of my piercings. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, make sure to go down and give a huge thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, make sure you go down and subscribe. I do upload videos every 3 to 4 days on this channel. I love you guys so, so much. Make sure to take care of your piercings. Be clean, be smart, and everything will be fine. I love you guys, and I will see you soon. Bye!